Hello, students. We are again drawing back the series of financial accounting and analysis. In the previous lectures, we talked about the objectives, introduction, functions of accounting. Then we have discussed on the different branches of accounting like financial accounting, cost accounting, management accounting. Now coming to the principles of accounting. Moving ahead with the principles of accounting, first let us see what is principles. Principles are the general rules and guidelines that companies are required to follow while reporting all the accounts and the financial data. See, when we talk about the reporting of financial accounts and financial data, let me tell you here the two important aspects is that the company needs to undergo for the audit, and also the companies are required to file the income tax returns. So for both of these purposes, there has to be a proper recording of all the accounting information along with the recording that needs to be done as per the rules, as per the guidelines that is being provided. So when we talk about the rules and regulations or the guidelines under which the companies are required to prepare the accounting records or the informations, it is very much essential, very much required that there should be some uniformity in the maintaining of accounts and the record informations. So this is the need of the accounting principles that when we talk about the accounting principles, it gives a uniformity of information. It gives a you can say a uniform structure to the accounting information for all the companies to prepare their financial records. So the need for here is that the purpose of and following the accounting information is to be able to communicate economic information in a language that is acceptable and easily understandable from one business to another. Now, suppose if we take the example let's take an example that there is no accounting general rules or the guidelines. So what will happen? The companies will prepare their information as per their own wish and format. So there will be no uniform format for the companies, and it becomes very difficult for the users of the information to interpret the information as per their use or according to their decision making purposes. So for that reason, it is essential to give some common or uniform guidelines to all the business operations so that they can maintain their information as per the desired guidelines in a desired format. So these desired formats and the guidelines will give the results, or you can say will prepare the accounting records in a very uniform manner, which will be helpful in further understanding the accounting language in a better way, and you can very easily interpret the results out of those in accounting informations easily. So this is the need for the accounting principles. Now, taking up the gap first, what the gap here is, it is the generally accepted accounting principles, or you can say it is the bunch of the principles or the guidelines that should be used by the companies in order to prepare their accounting records. In detail, we will take up in the future lectures where we will be talking about the IFRS, ASB, and GAAP. But for now, you can simply understand that GAAP is the set of information in reference to the rules, guidelines, or concepts and conventions which the company should follow while preparing their books of accounts. Now, see here it says the first point, GAAP aims to regulate and standardize accountancy practices by providing a framework to ensure companies and organizations are transparent and honest in their financial reporting. This simply says that GAAP is required because it gives a common platform, it gives a uniformity, which you can say delivers a transparency in the accounting information. And you know that when you are following the rules and regulations, it becomes very difficult to you can say to skip certain informations or to manipulate with the informations, though it cannot be avoided to the 0 point, but yes, it can be minimized. And since a uniformity is being maintained, so it becomes easy for the auditors or the ITRs to you can say easily recognize where is the lackness, where is the discrepancy. It is because of the common or the uniform format which has which is helping to recognize the lacknesses in the business. So when we use the gap principles, it the companies make it sure that the formats as prescribed by the ASB, the format should be followed as per the desired formats, and the all the required principles should be followed while making the recording of informations in the accounting books, which needs to be done honestly, and it should transparently carry the information as given by the companies. Then accounting principles serves as a doctrine for accountants theory and procedure in doing their accounting systems. So yeah, it is true that this is a doctrine for the accountants, because this is the set of rules or the guidelines that the accountants should follow while preparing their accounting records. So it gives a guideline, it gives a rules, it gives a set format which should be strictly followed by the accountants. Then accounting principles ensure that companies follow certain standards of recording, how economic events should be recognized, recorded, and presented. It is true that this accounting principles tell you how, when, where the accounting records should be recorded and presented. So recording also is given very clearly defined, that how you have to record and how you have to present those information in the form of P&L account or the balance sheet, etc. So both the things has to be clearly followed or strictly followed while maintaining your books of accounts. Now, external stakeholders, etc., rely on these principles to trust that a company is providing accurate and relevant information in their financial statements. Now, as we have discussed this in the previous lectures also, that accounting is the language of the business. So how well that accounting is being done, how clearly the accounting is being done, is how accurately you are giving your business related information to the outsiders or the persons who are involved, or to the person who are interested in your business operations. So obviously, if you are preparing your accounts with honesty and transparency, the information will be well conveyed to the interested parties. Then coming to the other aspects of GAAP is, while there is currently no universally standardized accepted accounting principles, there are various accounting frameworks which set the standard body. So the most common accounting principle frameworks used are IFRS, UK GAAP, and US GAAP. There are both similarities and differences between these three frameworks, where GAAP is more rule-based while IFRS is more principle-based. Now, see, IFRS here means that it is the International Financial Reporting Standards. So IFRS is the international standards which is given at the international level, but for every different country, it is not possible to follow the IFRS, because it has its own standard at the international level. So let's say if we take the example of India, it is not, you can say, it is not easy to follow the international standards or maintain the records as per the international standards. So each and every country prepare its own GAAP, which tries to incorporate or you can say which tries to make their GAAP more closer to the IFRS standards. But since we cannot 100% accurately follow IFRS, so we try that whatever GAAP we are following, that should be more and more closer to the IFRS rules and regulations. So what India is doing, India is preparing their. So when we say that gap for India, India has prepared its own standards, own rules and regulations for preparing the accounting records, and the rules as per which the accounting records need to be maintained. So while talking about these gap, let's take up the accounting principles first. Accounting principles in India has been divided into two parts here. One is the concepts and other is the conventions. The concepts here means which includes the basic assumptions, conditions, or the ideas upon which the science of accounting is based. Or you can say the convention, the concepts here means the simple rules following which you need to prepare your accounting records. And the conventions here means which are the general customs or the traditions which give you as a guidance that how the accounting records has to be maintained. So one is the basic assumptions, basic guidelines, basic conditions that needs to be followed, or the rules that need to be followed, while the conventions means the traditions or the custom that needs to be followed while preparing the accounting principles. So let us first take the accounting concepts, and then we'll talk about the conventions here. So first, accounting concept here means the separate entity concept. In accounting, business is considered to be a separate entity from the proprietor. It may appear to be ludicrous that one person can sell goods to himself, but this concept is extremely helpful in keeping business affairs strictly free from the effect of private affairs of the entrepreneurs. Or you can say that in identity, the business and the owner of the business, these two are the very separate bodies for the purpose of you can say business transactions. Like the owner is different and the business is different. Business has its own entity which needs to be very clearly understood by the principals. Then going concern concept says that it is assumed that the business will be continued for a fairly longer time to come. There is neither the intention nor the necessity to liquidate the particular business venture in a foreseeable future. On account of this concept, you can say that the accountant, while valuing the assets, does not take into account the forced sale value of assets, or you can say he charges depreciation on fixed asset on the basis of their expected lives rather than on their market value. There are many more implications of this going concern concept, but superficially we can say that going concern concept simply means that the business is for the longer, business will run for the longer period of time, not it is started not for the short time period. Then accounting period concept simply says that the accounts needs to be periodically winded up. It can be the one accounting year starting from one date and ended at a particular date. So according to this concept, we can say the life of the business is divided into some appropriate segments for studying the results that is being shown by the business after each accounting period is over. So like for example, we follow here the 1st April till 31st March as one accounting period, and we need to assess in that accounting period, we need to record and maintain all the financial transactions which is happening in a business for a particular that financial year. And when that financial year ends up, you need to prepare the summary of all the accounting records, and after that you can declare your profits, you can calculate your profits and get to know what is the financial status of the business. Then comes the next is money measurement concept. Accounting records not only monetary records only the monetary transactions, events or the transactions which cannot be expressed in terms of money do not find any place in the books of accounts, though they may be very useful for the business, but it is not you can say recognized in the financial accounting. Then comes the cost concept. This concept is closely related to going concern, which says that according to this concept, an asset is ordinarily entered in the accounting records at the price paid to acquire it, and this cost is basis for all the subsequent accounting for the asset. Like for example, I just need to include here that the cost concept does not mean that the asset will always be shown at cost. It means that the cost at which the asset has been acquired, that needs to be taken into consideration, and later on you can adjust the depreciation in it. So cost concept has the advantage of bringing objectivity in the preparation and presentation of financial information. In the absence of this concept, the figures shown in the accounting records would have depended on the subjective views of a person. So when we purchase any of the asset, we need to record that purchasing cost of that asset. Let's say, for example, machine is being purchased. For purchasing of machine, you have spent it 10 lakh rupees, and further for the installation purpose, you have spent it again 1 lakh more. So the cost for the machine would be 11 lakhs, which will be shown in the books. That is the final cost. So that is the cost concept. Then dual aspect concept. This is the basic concept of accounting, you can say. According to this concept, every business transaction has a dual effect. Dual effect in the sense, when we talk about the accounting information, or you can say accounting equation, which says that assets is equal to capital plus liability. So all the assets is equal to capital plus liability. This is the basic accounting principles. So all the assets having debit balances, liabilities, or the capital has the credit balances, or in other terms, we can say for each and every transaction, there has to be equal and opposite debit and credit. So it means on one side, it will be affecting the debit side. On the other side, it should be affecting any of the credit side. In detail, we will be discussing in the further lectures once we start with the journal ledgers. But for now, you make it a point that we prepare the accounts as per the dual aspect concept, which says that there has to be equal and opposite debit and credit for each and every transaction. Then comes the accounting period concept. Accounting period concept says, sorry, yeah, sorry, it has been repeated here. Then matching concept says, matching concept means this is based on the accounting period concept, which says that the paramount objective of running a business is to earn profit. So in order to ascertain the profit made by the business during a period, it is necessary that the revenues of that particular period should be matched with the cost of the period. Thus, the term matching here means that the appropriate association of related revenues and the expenses should be made up, so that the income made by the business during a period can be measured only when the revenue earned during a particular period is compared with the expenditure. Because it is nothing but simply matching the expenses with the revenues, that how much revenue is being earned, and against earning that revenue, how much expenses has been done. And the difference between two will give you the operational profit, that earning that much of revenue, how much expenses you have made, and how much is the profit made out of that revenue amount. This is the matching concept. Then comes the realization concept. Realization concept here means that revenue is recognized when a sale is actually made. This is also called as the prudence concept. And it simply says that sale is considered to be made at the point when the property in goods passes on to the buyer and he becomes legally liable to pay. This can be very well understood with the help of an example. We can take up an example here, that A places an order with B for supply of certain goods yet to be manufactured. Not manufactured, but it needs to be manufactured on the order. On receipt of order, B purchases raw material, employs workers, produces the goods and delivers them to A. A makes payment on receipt of goods. In this case, the sale will be presumed to have been made not at the time of receipt of the order for the goods, but at the time when the goods are delivered to A. So similarly, in the other cases also, when you think that the property in the goods which is being manufactured or has already been manufactured has passed on to the buyer, and now the buyer becomes legally liable to pay, whether he takes up the goods or not, but he is legally liable to pay. At that point of time, you can say the sale has occurred. So this is the realization concept, which says that you will not enter any of your revenues in your books until and unless you are confirmed that it is a revenue for you. So if we take the example of sales here, if we are entering any of our sales in the financial records, we have to be pretty sure that that is considered under sales. But if the property in the goods has not passed on to the buyer, it will not be considered as a sale. So until and unless the property in the goods has been passed on to the buyer and the buyer is legally liable to pay, we cannot assume any amount of sale as a sale, and thus we cannot enter any such regarding amount in the books as sales. So this is the realization concept here. So we can say this is the concept, realization concept. With this, we are ending up with the all the concepts here. Sorry, there is one additional concept which is written twice. So I will be deleting out and sending you the fresh slides again. Thank you. That's it for the concepts today. We will be continuing in the future lectures. Thank you.